Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kadash. Want to start off. See if I can get my camera straight. Want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim with Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers in this truth. This is another day at camp. The title for this camp I'm going to do is Save Up Your Treasure or Save Up Your Riches in Heaven. You know, that seems like that's been the spirit. I seen the apostles bring that out, you know, bringing out saving up your riches in heaven, you know, and a lot of people don't really understand that, and a lot of people of this world today is focused on saving up their riches now. Some people even believe that saving up your riches could get you salvation in a way, you know, or you know, you see your athletes, you see your entertainers, see your rappers, their main goal is to get rich and continue getting money and still living that lavish life. With them comes, they all have millions and millions of followers that's following them, that look up to them, really idolizing them, and want to be just like them to do what? Get money, get famous, and have that rich lifestyle. So, you know, this is just a warning to let you know, look, it's better to save your riches in heaven, up in heaven, your treasures up in heaven. We're going to go through why, because, you know, the things of this world is vain, and the things of this world is going to pass away. So if you know that, you know, everybody not going to get it. This is only for the elect of Israel. Everybody not going to get it, you know. So with you knowing that, you got to put in the work. And by you putting in the work, that's like you having a spiritual bank. That's like you saving up your riches in heaven for that spiritual bank, you know. So in the time of your trouble, you're going to be able to pull from that spiritual bank. You know, the Lord is going to be there to help you, because the Lord is going to remember. I believe it's like 2 Corinthians 4 and like 9 or something, I believe, or somewhere around there. I'll try to find. It says we're persecuted but not forsaken. You know, so we're going to be persecuted. We're going to have to go through all hell. We're going to have to go through tribulation to get through the kingdom, but we're not going to be forsaken. Why are we not going to be forsaken? Because of those works. You know, those works are not in vain. The Lord sees everything, you know, and understand the things that brothers finna have to go through. Understand you keeping the atonement that's coming at sundown, you know, afflicting your soul, fasting, doing these things for the Lord, you know, all the nights you're studying, the countless videos that you're putting up every day, you know, going out there in camp, sacrificing your body, you know, and the elements, sacrificing your image, you know, giving up that worldly lust and coming into this truth and standing boldly for the Lord, like it says in Wisdom Solomon chapter 5. So the Lord understands that, you know, and you're not going to be forsaken if you make it to the end, if you endure to the end. Matthew 25 tells you. Matthew 24 tells you those that shall endure to the end, the same should be saved. You know, so that's the goal, is to endure to the end, keep the faith, and to stack up that spiritual bank, so we could call on that spiritual bank, so we could withdraw that money from the heavens when we need it, you know, to get that salvation. So we're going to start right here in the precept that gave me the idea for this, which is Matthew chapter 6. Right, this is Matthew chapter 6, starting at verse 19. It says, and it's straight to the point, you know. It says, lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. So, you know, you could lay up treasures on earth, you could get a whole bunch of cash, try to hide it, you could do things like that, and thieves could come and steal that, you know. They could plot on you, set you up, come and steal that. Or you could even have your money in the bank, and the bank could just close, and then you can't get your money out. Like, I think here recently, probably like in the last week, it came out with them saying that the IRS is going to monitor every transaction under $600. So it used to be under $10,000, but now they're going to monitor everything under $600. And we know what that's leading up to. We know that that's leading up to the mark of the beast. You know, eventually everything's going to be digital, have all things, and every transaction that you do possibly is going to be monitored, because everything's going to be hooked up to the internet. But they got to set the foundation. They have to do something called gradualism. They have to gradually introduce these things, and then through that they could bring it on harder and harder. It's like a snake having you in a hole, like a python trying to put you to death in a hole. They apply pressure, and and then they apply more and more and more pressure. So they setting the foundation for that. You know, why they need to monitor transactions under $600. You know how many transactions that is? How many people take out more than $600 from the bank? So that's a lot of monitoring they're doing, you know? So you can see, and that came from nowhere. There's no need for them to do that. There's not a need, there's not a world crisis of people taking out less than $600, and they need to start monitoring that. So there's a reason why they're doing that. There's a reason why they set that law. It says, but late, and so we saying, like, even with the banks, they could, a thief could steal your money out the bank. Matter of fact, the bank is the thieves that could steal your money, or the government. It says, but lay up yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Right? Because your treasure in heaven, can't nobody touch it. You know, that's with the Lord. You know, the Lord gonna remember the things you did and count the things you did. Revelation chapter 20 says he's gonna come and judge them by their works. You know, so you got to put in the works. It says, for where your treasure is, there will also your heart be. Let me jump to Revelation chapter 20 to pull that out. This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. It says, I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, books of life, the books of your works, right? And the other book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead was judged out of these things which were written, it says, in the books according to their works. So you have to have faith, but James chapter 2 says you got to have faith and you got to have works. Like it just said, I'll read it again. It says, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the book according to their works. So you also have to have works, you know. Works and faith goes together. You prove your faith by your works. What's the works of the Lord? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, that's the works, you know. You put in the work. What's being righteous? Everybody could say, well, I'm righteous, I try to do good by people, but what's good and what's evil? It goes back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. So eating abominable foods, Leviticus 11 tells you what foods are clean to eat, what foods are unclean to eat. We have to follow that. This is, let me jump back to Matthew chapter 5 to show that the law is not done away with. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 says, think not that I come to destroy the law. So the Lord said he comes not to destroy the law. It says, or the prophets, I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Verily I say unto you, to heaven and earth pass, which heaven and earth is still here today. It says, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass from the law. So that means that the law is still here. It says, to all be fulfilled. Whosoever shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach man so, should be called least in the kingdom of heaven. So we stacking up our riches in the kingdom of heaven. We stacking up our treasures in the kingdom of heaven, man. We don't want to be called least in the kingdom of heaven by breaking the law, statutes, and commandments and teaching people that it's okay to break the law, statutes, and commandments. This is what we want to be called. It says, but whosoever should do and teach them, meaning you stacking up your riches in heaven, which we already showed you how to stack up your riches in heaven. By doing what? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you know? So it says those that do them, the law, statutes, and commandments, and teach them, the same should be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So we want to be called great in the kingdom of heaven, you know? So you got to do the work. This is another precept. We're just going to go through these precepts, you know? Let the word speak for itself today. This is Matthew chapter 19, verse 28. And this is coming from the Lord. It says, and Yahushua said unto them. So this is the Lord's word. So we got to really pay attention to that. And, you know, I was thinking about this before coming down to camp. Like, man, a lot of men don't really understand what this is, man. They don't really understand how deep this is, how serious this is. They don't understand that this comes before everything else. You know, I had not my brother, Quinaya. He couldn't make it today, but not him. But I had another brother that was supposed to come down here today. And he kind of canceled because he said that his family was coming in town, you know, which he told me last night. He said that he was going to make it. If I could pick him up, he'd be ready. And then maybe, this was last night, so maybe 12 hours later, he told me he couldn't make it because his family was coming in town. I said, bro, you can't, Romans chapter 1, you can't worship the creature more than the creator. You got to come down here and do the work, man. This is your first love. This is before that. That's a part of stacking your riches up, stacking that treasure up in heaven, man. You got to work out your own salvation, bro, because you don't know if you're going to be saved. In the book of Philippines, which we're going to read. So you got to stack up your own, you got to work out your own salvation, man. And that's why you're stacking up that spiritual treasure in heaven, to work out your salvation. You know, that's fine. We only gonna be down here for like an hour. Our camp, we ain't got to doing 3 hours yet, you know, because it's not a big camp. We only gonna be down here for an hour, hour and a half. Maybe today I might be down here even less, you know, since I'm by myself. But you can't take that out, bro. And you already gave me your word. Your word is bond when you come in this truth, man. Your word is what you have, man. The word is all we have, you know. So you can't take an hour out to come down here. You got to be sitting in their face for a whole hour. For the whole day, you have to sit in their face. You can't leave them for an hour to come do the Lord's work, man, and then go back home after. They ain't going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? But man don't really understand what this is. You see, that's trying to save your own life. That's still trying to be worldly. You got to let that stuff go, man, because everybody not going to make it. So what are you going to do? Give up your salvation because if they don't make it, you know, which we don't know if they're going to make it or not, but you got to have that type of mindset, you know, and understand everybody not going to make it. But back in Matthew 19, verse 28, it says, for Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory. So we following the Lord, like we just said, you know. We following the Lord by keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, and doing the work. And, you know, stacking up that spiritual bank. It says, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So it says, look, we going to be like the Lord. It says we're joint heirs to the Lord. So it says, look, we going to sit, and, you know, the 12, they're going to sit on 12 thrones, but the 144,000 elect, they going to sit on, they going to get crowns, you know. Second Address, chapter 2, I believe. It says, and everyone that has forsaken houses, brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, because land is true wealth and slaves is true wealth. Which in the kingdom, we're going to get that true wealth. We're going to get slaves, the other nations, Amos chapter 9 and 11, and we're going to get the lands. We're going to have the whole world under our dominion, which is Revelation chapter 21. It says, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last. The one, just like going Matthew chapter 5. Those that's not keeping the law, statutes, commandments, but they chasing money because they want to be rich, they want to be famous, they want to be first, they going to be last, man. It says, but the last should be first, you know. So we are putting off all those things, and we're going to suffer at all those things because we're not putting our all into all those things. Anybody that know anything about getting money or whatever you want to call it, know to start a business, you got to put passion into it. You got to put all into it if you really want to be successful. We know we're going to suffer at those things because we're not worried about that. We're putting our passion, we're putting our all into this truth, into the faith, you know. So that means that we're probably going to be last. We're going to be meek. We're going to suffer, you know. We're going to go through affliction, insurrection, you know, much tribulation. But in the kingdom, we're going to get it all back, and that's what it's talking about here. It says we should receive 100-fold. So we stacking up our spiritual, we stacking up our treasures, our riches in heaven. When we get to the kingdom, we're going to have it all, man. That's what we looking forward to. That's when we looking forward to having our women, having our children, having our palaces, having our riches, having our glory. Revelation 21 says our gates should be open continuously. Same thing with Isaiah 60. Our gates should be open continuously because the other nations are going to bring whatever honor, whatever glory they have, they're going to bring it to us. Zechariah chapter 14 says, well, we're going to take the gold and all the riches of the other nations. Zephaniah chapter 3 says he should get us fame in all lands. You know, it's just so many precepts. Let's jump to, I believe, 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And I might get some of those precepts. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58, straight to the point. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. This is the work of the Lord. We have to say it over and over again. This is the work of the Lord. So we got to be unmovable, man. Things happen where sometimes you can't make it down the camp, but man, you got to be strong, man. It got to be, for me, it got to be damn near like an emergency, you know. Or you might come out a different day. If you miss one day, you might come out the next day and do it, or the next day after that and do the work, you know, because this is our first love. You know, or it got to be some type of crazy emergency where we just couldn't make it. not because some family members came in town, not because I got tired, you know, stuff like that, you know. But this is to keep going. It says, always abounding in the work of the Lord, in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Our labor is not in vain. The Lord is remembering these things. But you got to understand, man, this is serious, because you could do all this work and still not make it. So that should put the spirit on you to do even more work. You should always have the spirit of, like, I got to do more work, man. I'm lacking. Or you got to have that spirit of, I'm not doing enough, man. I need to do more work, man. I need to put up more videos. I got to go harder and harder in this truth. I got to go harder until I can't go no harder. I got to go my hardest, man. You got to have that spirit on you when you in this truth, when you in this faith, man. Because you can do all this work and still not make it and not be chosen. So you just praying for the Lord to forgive you, and you be one of the elect men, which is a great glory. That's a great treasure right there. That's a great honor, you know. A lot of men ain't gonna get that, you know. A lot of men not gonna get that. This is jumping to, I believe, 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Here, let me see where I got it. It says 7 through 16. Here, let's get it. 2 Corinthians 4, starting at verse 7. It says, but we have this treasure in the earthling vessel, that the ecstasy of the power may be of God and not of us. So that's our treasure, the power of the Lord, not of us, right? It says, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not dispersed. And this is the precept that I had quoted earlier. It says, persecuted but not forsaken. So we're going to be persecuted. Going to Matthew 24. They should deliver you up to be afflicted, you know. They should be delivering you up, you know. But it says, persecuted but not forsaken, cast down but not destroyed, always bearing about in the body and the dying of the Lord Yahushua, that the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our body, because we got to do the work, right? It says, for we which live are always delivered into death for Yahushua's sake, that the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. And that's spiritual too, because, you know, you killing off that old man daily, right? But then literally and physically, you know, all the prophets were put to death, you know. And but this time the Lord said He's gonna change it up. He said this time the Lord gonna save the elect. You know, there's gonna be martyrs, man, that's gonna have to die for the Lord, but for the most part, the Lord is gonna save the elect. But you got to kill off that old man and come into that new man, you know, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, a new walk. It says, and then remember, also in 1 Corinthians 15, it says that the Lord had victory over death, you know. This is verse 12 though. Back in 2 Corinthians 4, verse 12, it says, so then death worketh in us, but life in you. It says, we having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written. You got to have that spirit of faith, man. You better believe. You got to have fear of the Lord too. That's very important. It says, I believe and therefore have I spoken. We also believe and therefore speak, knowing that he which raised up the Lord Yahushua shall raise us up also by Yahushua, and shall present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many rebound to the glory of God. For which cause we faint not, but through our outward man, see that outward man perish. Which is like what I'm saying, you killing that outward man dying every day. It says, but yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light afflictions, which is but for a moment, right, worketh for us a far more exceedingly and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal, right? So, and just like with going with your riches, you know, and your treasures, you know, the treasures that you can see, money and gold and all that bullshit, those are the things that's seen, but we stacking up for the things that are not seen, the things that are in heaven, those spiritual treasures. And if you jump back to Matthew chapter 10, I want to get a couple more precepts, if I can find them. here. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 26. It says, "Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speaking in light, and what ye hear of the ear, that preach ye upon the housetop." It says, "Fear not them which could kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him that are able to destroy the soul and the body in hell," which goes back to fear the Lord. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 13, "Hear the whole duty of man," you know, let me see if I can find it real quick so I don't misquote it. Fear the Lord and keep his commandments, you know. So the fear of the Lord is very, very important, and a lot of people lack on that, man. Some of the things people be saying out here is crazy, show they have no fear for the Lord. But verse 39, it says, "He that findeth his life shall lose it. He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it." Same thing with the riches and the treasure. You lose all that for the Lord's sake. Going back to Matthew 19, we gonna get 100-fold in the kingdom. Same thing with your life. You lose everything in your life, but you're gonna inherit it and you're gonna find it, you know. You're going to be written in the book of life. "He that receiveth you receiveth me. He that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in my name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward." You're going to get that reward, right? So fuck the reward over here, getting money and stuff like that. Stack up your spiritual bank in the heavens, you know. It says, "In the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man reward," you know. Now let's jump to Revelations chapter 20. Verse 2, straight to the point. It says, "And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. No, not right there. Not right there. I think here, not right there. 21. Let me see. 1 John. Let me see. 1 John chapter 2. Sometimes it be like that, you know, but you just got to keep pushing through. You got to keep pushing through, man. Keep the faith. Got to flip through the pages, find it. It'd be windy, but see, that's you actually being out here going through those things for the Lord, you know. This is 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "The love not the world, neither the things that are in the world," right? So don't love. Do we all get money at some point in time? Yeah. Do we take care of our family? Do we pay bills? Do we get extra? Hey, that's good. You know, if you got extra money, you can go. If like me, I'm into sports cars. So if I get some extra money, I could go buy a sports car, because that's like one of my passions. Some brothers spend their money on cable to watch basketball games, football games, and stuff like that. Some brothers gamble on those things. Some brothers go to casinos or whatever. You know, so if you got the extra money, some brothers are more fortunate to other brothers, you know. It's not saying don't get money, but it's saying, look, don't love those things. You know those things of the world. Like it said, 1 John 15. "If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." So you got to put this first. You got to love this first, you know.